What do I know? I'm just a girl on the internet. Welcome back to Girl on the Internet podcast. If you're new here, my name is Kayla. I am cutting right to the chase today because I am not alone today. I have an extremely special guest I'm so excited about. The one, the only, Chelsea Blackwell. Hey girl. If you don't know who Chelsea is, you're clearly living under a rock. Chelsea was just recently on season 6 of Love is Blind, and she's so graciously here today to talk about that experience and just some questions that you guys had for her and just getting to know the real Chelsea and not the one that we've just seen on TV. So welcome. How are you doing today?
So excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. She is booked and busy, y'all. I am so grateful that she's here with me today.
Booked and busy.
You are. Yes, you are, girl. You guys are probably wondering, how the heck did you get Chelsea on your podcast? And to which I would agree. I'm like, this was truly like I don't even know, like just a right place, right time kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I am watching Love is Blind like everybody is. And one of the episodes, they show your apartment. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, dang. I'm like, that looks real familiar. We're neighbors. So
no big deal.
We are neighbors. So immediately I was DMing Chelsea. First of all, I like freaked out when I saw the episode. And then I'm like, I'm just going to shoot my shot. Like, I'm just going to send her a message. Worst she'll say is no. She'll be busy, whatever. Oh, Miss Girl is like responding. She's so excited. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, she's nice.
She's not a crazy psycho.
She's not too cool for me. Okay, go. So that's how I got Chelsea here, solely because we are neighbors, and I think you're just...
Not solely. You're amazing.
You're just so gracious to, I think, like, share your time right now, and, like, your life is so busy and hectic, so I do appreciate it, but I'm also so excited. I'm like, hey, girl, you want to just, like, take the elevator? Come on up.
Traffic is rough, like you said.
Traffic is rough. We got to be real careful.
I'm so excited to be here, and your setup is just so great. Nice. This is so professional.
Okay, y'all hear that? That one woman show out there, okay?
You're doing great, sweetie.
So off the bat, so many of the people that followed me had so many questions for you. Definitely wanted to narrow them down because some I was like, we're not doing that. Most of the questions were about the pods. Mm-hmm. People are dying to know more about the pods, like more than the drama. I'm not even kidding. So can you tell us, like, on a typical day in the pods, like sun up to sundown, like what are you doing and like what's the time around that?
Oh my gosh, the pods are nuts. So people don't know. Pods are all day, all night. Like, we're dating until 3 o'clock in the morning. We start at 6. We wake up at 6, go down, get breakfast at 7. We can't talk to each other. So one fun fact, I know you wanted me to say a fun fact. There's so many.
I'll share all of them.
There's so many. But one thing that people don't know is that we stay off site of the pods. People think that we live in the pods. We don't live in the pods.
I was about to ask you what the house was like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That would be crazy.
That would be, yeah.
The girls were so good together. It would have been so much fun. But so we stay off site in a hotel, and you know, we wake up. We all have our own rooms. We don't have TV. We don't have phones. We don't have our phones. We have nothing. I was listening to static radio, like, because I'm a music queen. So I'm like, on the alarm clock, like that's how I woke up every morning. So we would wake up. We would go down and get breakfast at the hotel. You cannot speak. You cannot talk. So we have, this is another fun fact, we have these people called wranglers, and they literally wrangle the cattle, you know, and so they're standing around us. We can't chat, we can't talk. It's very interesting, and we're all eating breakfast like in silence. Like, we get to the pods about, it's probably like a mile down the road. We get to the pods about 8 a.m. maybe, and then dating starts immediately. So we're literally back-to-back dating all day, and then we have an option of night dating, and that starts at like 9 p.m. and we'll go until like 3 a.m. Oh my gosh. So we're running on like 3 hours of sleep.
No wonder everyone seems to be, emotions were high and things were crazy. You said you could pick the nighttime dating if you wanted to and like have that extra time with somebody?
Yeah, it's not mandatory. So you could, if you were exhausted from day dating, you could definitely go home or to the hotel. I took as much advantage of the time as I possibly could. So I was always night dating. I think there was one time where I went into a night date and like halfway through I was like, it's a no for me, dog. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, you're busy. You're like, social tiredness is a different kind of tired.
100%.
And you're spilling your guts to like every single new person behind the wall. So that's crazy. So obviously, like, you're not seeing each other, you're behind the wall. What was that like, just going into this room and you're like, okay, comfy couch, a vibe, like, how did you just like navigate entering the pods each day?
Oh my gosh. Well, they're so cozy. They're so cozy. So like going into the pods, like everyone's like, why are you dressing up? Like they can't even see you. I'm like, the world can. Like, we're on camera. And that's another fun fact. I'm just going to do the whole episode.
Yes, I love it.
You can see the cameras in the pods, but they're like non-existent. So it's so easy to forget that you're on camera. So going into the pods, it was just they're, really small, like cubicles. There's a little mini bar in there, praise be. And then like a really cozy couch, and it's just like super comfortable. Yeah. But it's so interesting because the speaker system, which is so weird to me, like the wall, it's thick. You could tell it's thick. But how you hear each other is through a massive speaker.
We're hearing the mic setup, like to the...
Yeah, and it sounds so crisp and clear. Like, there was so many times where I was on a date with Ben, and Ben's mic fell off into his crotch. And I'm like, my boy, like, I cannot hear you.
That's wild. Yeah, I guess I would have assumed it's just like you can hear, like, if I was on the other side of this wall or something. But
that's what I thought too. Like, I thought it was just going to be like hooting and hollering at each other, but it wasn't. And then it's like surround sound. So if someone laughs, it's like deafening. And I'm a loud bitch, so.
I'd watched the whole season, but then I was like rewatching it before you came on. And I did think about that. I'm like, why are we in dresses, girly pops? Like, what are we doing? Yeah. But I totally get it. You're like, this is how the world is seeing you. Like, I mean, even if the other people aren't seeing you, you're like, I don't want to be in there like completely barefaced, like not my best.
Hell to the no. Night dating, you can be in cozy clothes. So we would all change into like our cute little comfortable clothes. But during the day, like I was in jeans and, tank tops a lot. Like I wasn't going like wearing ball gowns by any means. I think on proposal day I wore jeans and a cardigan. Like,
love that. We love a cozy queen. So good. Okay, so you stayed off site. So I guess that answers the question then of like, you're not really having meals then in like the little house situation. So like you do. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's where that's at.
And I will say, and I will touch on this, they gave us more food than I could ever even imagine.
Girls gotta eat. I mean,
a girl's gotta eat.
That's good though.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. But it was so funny. We just have an ongoing joke because Amy Kai, she was like the cute little Asian girl. She's just my favorite. She's one of my best friends. She called it the lunchbox, and they would feed us these like trays of like fettuccine, sushi, bread, a single like broccoli, like the most random shit. It was like they were just going to like the cafeteria and just loading this shit up.
What do we think that they'll like? Okay, yeah, more of this, more of this. That's great.
But we were eating like, and then once it started to dwindle down and people were going home and stuff, they started giving us like we could customize our orders for like sushi or like In-N-Out. Like we were living our best life. It was great.
There's a lot of people, it seems, that show up, and then it narrows it down to like those of you that made it to the reunion in the end. So are people just kind of dropping like flies or like?
Yeah, it's like the Hunger Games, girl. It is crazy. So it starts off with 15 guys and 15 girls. And, some people were, dating and realizing that their person wasn't there. So they were deciding willingly to go home. And then if you didn't match, it's like a whole science. I wish I could explain it, but I literally can't. I don't even know how I got as far as I did because Lord. So like if you don't have a match, like if someone doesn't put your name down on their list, every single day we had to rank. So it was a ranking system. Yeah, it was crazy. So say day one was like, and don't quote me on this because like I said, I don't know how it works. Day one was 15. We went on 15 dates. I think we listed, you can put down 13 names of who you wanted to see again. So those two that you didn't put down, they wouldn't be in your list. I don't even know how to make this make sense. The math ain't mathin'. So if you weren't matched up with someone, they would tell you that morning. So imagine getting all ready and then they wouldn't let you say bye. They would just pull you out.
What's like the America's Next Top Model where she has the photos and she's like, I have 3 photos in my hands.
Oh no, not the elimination.
Wait, that's crazy. So they just kind of like,
And it was so sad because like they would come up and they did it the best way. Like production did it the best way they could. But they would call your name like to make it non-noticeable. So they wouldn't be like, "Hey, Susie, come on down." They would come and say, "Hey, come chat with us. Like, let's talk." And then they would tell them, you know, "You don't have any matches today. It's time to go home." And then they would just be gone. And it hurt my heart because we all were friends.
right. Or even I think if you were vibing with someone in the pod.
And then you're like having breakfast with them and then they're gone.
Right. That's wild. And then you don't have a cell phone to be like, yo, where you?
Yeah, what's up, girl? You in the bathroom? Like, what's going on?
Can you share with us like some of the things that you were writing down in the infamous journals? What were Chelsea's notes?
This is actually really funny, and I have not been asked this. I'm the worst note taker. So when it came to day one of going on our 15 dates, I was writing down their name, their age, and what they did. And that was it. And then I would put a star next to them, my top 5. That was about it. So I just, instead, like, people were so enamored by, like, taking notes and stuff. And I just was, like, so present. Mm-hmm. So I have a few pages full of notes, like, when it came to my top 5, who I really, really enjoyed, which were, I'll get to that later. But I really got to the nitty gritty with them. And then other than that, I just never really, like, some people use it as their journals and their diaries, right, which I wish I did, but I never got it back. So I'm glad that
was my next question. So were you not allowed to keep them?
Some did, but your girl didn't. I'm like, what kind of codes were in there?
What happened with, like, did you just leave it there? Did they take it from you? What was that like? Or just you packed up and forgot about it or something?
I wanted it. Like, I wanted it for my memories. I got my blanket.
Yes!
Praise be.
Girl, that blanket helped you through a lot of hard times.
You know what? That was my support. It literally was. I didn't get a gold cup and I didn't get my journal.
They didn't give you a gold cup. That is so rude. The least they could have done was give you a little souvenir from your for the trauma.
A little trophy to remember. No,
that's crazy.
I know.
So when we see your journal on eBay going for like $1,000,
I got some fighting words. So I'm so
you just like
pissed.
message them back. Hey, can I get that back?
Yeah, I'm like, do y'all have it in like the back? You're gonna put it in a museum? Like, come on, like there's nothing.
The
in
Love
it.
Is Blind Museum. That's
Jimmy
so
has
funny.
his. I'm like, God. He rubbed it in my face. He's like journaling in the DR. I'm like, whatever. I don't have paper. I don't have books. I don't have a magazine. I'm like, where do I document this?
I mean, we are all addicted to our phones. Yeah. We have our phones 24/7. I think that would be the hardest thing.
We didn't have our phones for like a total of 15 days.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
I loved it.
Oh, that's good.
I loved it. Jimmy hated it. A lot of the girls hated it. Yeah. I loved it. I felt so
Probably
free.
a nice little cleanse, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
I feel like I would enjoy it, but then I would like the little things like setting my alarm.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh shoot.
Or music. Music was my thing. Like I hate it. So like I said, I would just beat bop my little alarm clock and it'd be like 50s like static music and I'm just like doing my eyelash.
You're trying so hard to like vibe to it. Yeah, because you still you'd have your phones in the DR, right? Mm-mm. No. So even then you had to like get creative with that's why you were
I think this is against the law, but they would like give us like a little burner phone and we would listen to music on the burner phone and it was just like such a treat. Like you couldn't send texts out or anything, but the music we were like
sacred, like a little flip phone where you're like recording your ringtone or something. You're like, yes. Were there any guys that we didn't really get to meet that you really did vibe with? So we know you had a thing with Jimmy, of course, with Trevor. Was there anyone else that you were like, oh, I so wish they would have stayed, like just because? Anyone you can name off?
So Ben was my number 3, and Johnny was my number 4. So you guys met Johnny. Who was my number? Jeremy was my number 5. We'll skip that. So there's so many wonderful guys. Drake is amazing. You didn't see a lot of Drake. Drake is so wonderful. Dion's my boy. Ben I'm actually hanging out with later. He's so wonderful. He's amazing. Him and I had the best connection, but it just wasn't there. Yeah. It wasn't there. So
hanging out as friends later?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She said, skirt! I'm going to interrupt this question.
She's so funny. Y'all, this is what happens when you're not in a real studio. The budget is low for this. I paid Chelsea in a coffee, girl. Right here. This is how I paid Chelsea to come on the pod.
Definitely just friends. He's been a wonderful support system.
I have to look him back up because I don't think I remember.
He's amazing. I would pull him up for you right now, but I'm gonna have to dig. Yeah, it's just It's a journey, and they were just the guys are really good. Yeah, Drake, Dion, Vince is wonderful. A lot of guys you guys didn't really get to see are just wonderful people who I wish went further.
We see this one person one singular time and then like never again. Yeah. So interesting how I think just, of course, the editing and all of that is so interesting. I was watching one of your interviews or podcasts, I think, and you had mentioned somewhere that most everybody on the show was approached or found for the show, but you applied. You want to talk about that and like the application process?
Yeah. So I had the application sent to me literally from everyone and their mom.
What you trying to say?
I know, right?
Mom,
Excuse
Dad.
me. I can date.
No, I'm really good at it.
I'm really good.
No, it's really great.
I swear I'm just struggling right now.
I'll give you a big hug.
So my mom sent it to me. My sister sent it to me. Everyone who knew they were coming to Charlotte who were fans of the show. And I'm a fan of the show. And I was seeing it all over Instagram. Just, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, I'll apply. I won't hear anything, whatever. And the next day I got a call back. It was a very long process. It was a year long to get accepted. They didn't tell me I was accepted until a week before, which was crazy.
Oh my gosh, the nerves.
I know. Well, I'm like, I gotta get Botox. I gotta go shopping. Like, I got stuff to do.
So do you remember timeline-wise when you applied? We're talking 2020.
Oh, man.
It's so funny how it all works. Like, you watch the reunion thinking like, and you watch the episodes thinking this all happened so recently, but it was a whole year plus ago.
It was October of 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was like the application process and everything.
That's when I applied. Because then on my 29th birthday, how old am I? Yeah, my 29th
Time isn't real. It's fine.
My 29th birthday, they reached out, and I remember being like, which is in October. And then the holidays came, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like we were getting more into it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, we started filming March 26th. So, okay, so it wasn't a whole year. Almost.
Well, I mean, yeah.
6 months.
No, yeah. Well, and then they started filming.
The math ain't mathin'. I'm bad at math.
No, it's okay. Time's not real. I say it all the time. So they started filming in March then of 2023. So yeah, I mean, it's a year. Yeah. I mean, now.
So much has happened in between the time. Like, people are like losing their ever-loving minds. I'm like, yo, a lot has changed since then.
Right, and you're only seeing so much. Yes. So more about like you applying to be on the show, all of that. Obviously, it's reality TV. Obviously, there's going to be a camera shoved in your face. Mm-hmm. You are a regular schmegular girl who's now going to be noticeable and name dropping all the time. Did like the team, did the producers, did they tell you anything at all like going into it? I mean, I'm sure you had to sign like forms and things, but what like you and Jimmy say like you're hanging out, was there any dialogue from the producers when you're in a room, or was it just like, we're not here, do what you do, or was it like, okay, stand here, say that again, like
I love that. That's a great question.
Oh, I love it behind the scenes. So
I was actually very surprised because I thought it was going to be a lot of giving us dialogue and stuff. And they did. They kind of, if we're kind of just sitting there shooting the shit, they're like, hey, why don't you talk about this? Mm-hmm. Which makes sense.
Yeah, like give a topic to talk about.
They don't want to waste this camera time, so.
Except for that one scene in the DR with Brittany and...
Oh, yeah. Where were they?
What was that 45 seconds of silence on my TV?
They said, hey guys, start talking about dolphins. It is crazy. It's nuts. So there are times where, because we're on camera so much, where it's just like they do guide the conversations in certain times. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they're out. You don't even think they're watching. Like, there's no one in the room besides the cameraman. God bless them. They've seen some shit. So yeah, it's really just, it's so real. And that's why I stand with Love is Blind, because they are so real. They just, edit it.
I've been Team Chelsea since the beginning, for everybody out there. I mean, truly, like, it does seem that they gave you they had to, like, and this is me speculating, Chelsea's not confirming nor denying this, but I do feel like they were like, we need the insecure girl. Yeah. Where's the girl that's going to be like the whiny one, the clingy? 100%. And then it was like, it just happened to fall in your lap. Yeah. So watching, did you watched it, right? Or no?
Briefly.
Okay. Good for you. That's probably for the better. Yeah. So what you've seen, and then obviously like social media and what you've, unintentionally seen or not, what do you feel in terms of like how you were portrayed on the show, knowing who you are now, the strength that you have, the therapy that you've done, that you've talked about, looking back on that, Chelsea, like what are your thoughts?
It sucks to see because it's like, dang, that's not me. And anyone who's in the situation that I was in, I'm in a relationship that was very crusty. It was so brutal. And of course it's going to bring out the worst of me. So to like see that, to even see yourself get emotional on camera is awful. Okay. So to see yourself in an argument with your partner is like even worse. But what the camera only focuses on is, we had a few hard times, but we had amazing times on camera too, and they just decided to focus on that. So seeing myself back, it's awful. It's so cringe, but it also has, I'm here today because of it. So, and I love that I can look back and be like, damn, that is not me. Right. And I think that's why I'm handling this so well, is because I know who I am. I know my heart. I know, who I am as a person, and that is not me at all. So
you were cracking me up on your Instagram stories when you were doing like little Q&As and people were like, why are you so whiny? You were like, times be tough. And I'm like, period. Like I think I support it so much because I'm like, listen, I have some friends and friends and friends, and I have seen some of y'all's relationships. And if there was a camera in your room, 100%. Girl, I know plenty of like whiny girls and and it's no shade to anybody, but it's like, yeah, what does go on behind closed doors? And just for you, it happened to be all on camera.
Right. And I accepted that. I said, okay, like bet. Like the cameras are going to be in my relationship. I'm totally fine with that. I don't give a shit about the cameras. And I can scream this from a rooftop. Like I did not care about the cameras. The cameras did not affect me at all. I'm not going to sit there and beat around the bush. You know how boring we would have been if we were just like, okay, we're gonna go to bed now, good night, and then the camera's left and I'm like, what the hell, Jimmy?
And you're also navigating a brand spanking new relationship. Yes. And I think too, people forget that you are quite literally expediting the situation of like, am I gonna marry this person? So yeah, you're gonna talk about all the things, you're gonna bring everything up, you're gonna show them your emotional side, your normal side, like I was not appreciating what people were saying about you because I'm like, like she has the right to be angry about certain things or have an emotion about this. Totally. Oh, it's making me so mad for you.
Absolutely. Everything makes sense if you saw it all.
Oh, I'm sure they have so many hours of footage.
Oh my gosh. They have like 300,000 hours of footage that
That's insane. We all know about your edit, or at least what we've all speculated, what we're like, how Chelsea was portrayed. Is there anybody else that you think got a fair edit? Do you think anyone's persona was portrayed accurately? Or was everyone's a little bit tainted? I can also cut it if you want me to. That was a little bit of a hard-hitting question.
I think I'll word it in a way where we were very surprised about a few. Or not a few, but we were very surprised about specifics that got away.
You don't know anybody, obviously. Right. But when I was watching back, I'm like, this seems kind of like the real them. Yeah. So is that what you're saying? Like there were some people that... Yeah. Gotcha.
It was very shocking. So,
well, and then again, you look at you and Jimmy, and it's like, I think so many people are saying, well, he got like the good boy edit. Like he got like, he's such a good guy and he's this and he's that. And then it's like, poor Chelsea.
We were shocked. And, we can touch on it later, but Jimmy and I are in a good spot now, but we were very surprised.
To say the least, right?
To say the least.
One of the biggest questions I got, and I don't know if you've been asked this before, but we know that Jimmy proposed or like asked to marry you kind of first in the pods, and you were between Trevor and Jimmy. Everyone wants to know if Trevor was first. Would you have said yes?
No, and I love it because it's such a science behind it, because I knew I was going to pick Jimmy the day before. How it works is it's like they know what you want, so they do the complete opposite. So I was hoping the day before proposal day, I was hoping I had Jimmy, and I got the clarity I needed from Jimmy, and then Trevor was after, and I could have not dragged Trevor to proposal day because that was awful. And I was able to cut it off with Trevor. it didn't work out that way. I had Trevor before, had a great date with Trevor, was in a really good spot with Trevor, but I still wasn't where I wanted to be with Trevor. Mm-hmm. And so at that time, I thought I was going to say no to anyone because I wasn't where I wanted to be with Trevor and I wasn't where I wanted to be with Jimmy. Then Jimmy and I had the date where he tells me he loves me, and it just like sent everything into a spiral.
Yeah, you throw yourself on the floor from the couch. A lot was happening. As you should. A lot was happening.
So I had that date with Jimmy. That was a 5-hour date, which was nuts. And then the next day, you know, I knew. I went to bed and I knew it was Jimmy. That day, the day before, before proposal day, I knew it was Jimmy. I went to bed, thought about it, was so set on it. If Jimmy didn't propose, because it wasn't for sure, like he was going to propose. If Jimmy didn't propose to me, I would have gone home. I wouldn't have said yes to anybody. So I was hoping Trevor was first so that I could have had that conversation with him. Mm. And it didn't work like that. Jimmy was first. And that was a mental freaking day. Jimmy was first, so I was on this high. I didn't even know if Jimmy was going to show up.
Oh, okay.
So Jimmy proposed, and then I had to go in immediately after and break up with Trevor.
That broke my heart for you.
Yeah,
because
it was hard, yeah.
That's not, I don't think anyone, I mean, dating in general is hard. And then you're put in that situation. It's like, my gosh, emotions are high. That's crazy. That's so good to know, though, about you and Trevor. Yeah. I was so curious.
Yeah. No, I was getting dragged for it.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, again, how is it portrayed?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So many people were like, WTF at the reunion. They totally skipped over you and Jimmy. Yeah. And then it was like a big question mark for so long until you guys started doing podcasts and stuff. Yeah. Do you have any thought on like why they really didn't want to, or did they and it got cut? Like,
there's something so funny going around. People are like saying that Jimmy and I asked to be skipped over. Girl, I went in there guns a-blazing.
So that's a rumor then.
100%. Yeah. I'm like, I went in there wanting to tell my story. So I couldn't explain why. I don't know why. I still don't know why. But I am using platforms to like really tell my side. And Jimmy has a side too. Like we both have sides, but I'm really speaking my truth. And it's been great. I don't know why they didn't give me that chance to.
Did you talk about it at the reunion and it got cut?
So not really,
or you didn't really get to talk about it at all?
I think the only thing they asked us that they didn't show is if we were single or not. And Jimmy and I both answered, and then they just didn't.
They didn't show that. Oh, it was killing me. Because I was watching the reunion, and I'm like, are they dating or are they not? And then like no one knew for so long until again you guys started like showing face on podcasts and things like that. Because that was like everyone's biggest question. Because we'd kind of seen like the whole you guys didn't make it to the altar. We were like, what's happening? And then
it was like a 0 or 100 to 0, and then that was it.
There was just another bit of drama that seemed to be. Very present at the reunion. So what were your any thoughts on that? Like why, like any thoughts just seeing that was the biggest topic talked about?
It's frustrating. Like that was the whole drama when we were filming. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm so glad Laura had her platform. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, we are talking about the Sarah Ann, Jeremy, Laura.
I'm so grateful that Laura had her chance to speak and have her time to tell her side because she deserves nothing less. But it's like, why are we giving them more? Not Laura. Why are we giving Sarah Ann and Jeremy more time? Like,
and I feel like when I was watching it as a viewer, I'm like, okay, who are we talking about next? Okay. Like, it just seemed to just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on. And they pulled poor Laura in on a virtual thing. And I'm like, okay, I think you and Jimmy like barely spoke anyways. All Jimmy said was he didn't get the villain edit. You said a few things and then that was like pretty much it. Like they did not highlight. And then like you guys made it to the reunion. You were a very like well-shown couple on the show.
Well, everyone's like, Chelsea didn't get dragged like she needed to. And Jimmy didn't get dragged like he needed to. And I'm just like, I didn't go in there with the intentions to drag anybody, but I have a story to tell, and so does Jimmy, you know? So there was just so much. We don't know. I think we both were just kind of like I was shaking in my boots, like waiting for them to come to me, and then they brought up Megan Fox, and I'm like, okay, I had a whole ass relationship. I thought you guys would want to know, and they didn't. So
that is annoying that's all they brought up. Post-show, where do you stand with Jimmy?
He's such a goof.
Are you guys together?
We're not together. No.
Not dating?
We're not dating. No, but we're on great terms. He's been very lovely during this time. He's really helped me. You know, like I said, we didn't expect me to have the bad at it. So now that he is all Gucci, he's like, all right, like, I'll guide you through this. I'm like, oh my God, you can see it's a little late now.
Has he said anything about like if people approach him in public, is he trying to like have your back a little bit, hopefully?
He says he is, and I haven't seen anything saying he hasn't been. So, you know, I'll keep him at his word for that. It's just so interesting because I am speaking out and I'm telling, you know, this was a year ago. Mm-hmm. So we both have grown so much, but in our relationship, it was not good. So me speaking about our relationship from a year ago, like there were bad things that were going on and I look insane. So of course I'm going to tell my side of the story.
I still just like, we've said it a few times on that, but like the edit was just so crazy. And again, I'm saying it again, I've rewatched it. Yeah. Knowing what I know now, you watch the whole thing, reunion, go back. Mm-hmm. There was one like episode or part of the scene where you were very normally expressing you're like, I just want to be communicated with. I would love it if you gave me a kiss. Like I'm like, okay, so like a very mature girl just saying what she wants. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's how good relationships should be. Like you're communicating your wants and your needs. You're talking about maybe like your love language, whatever. He just gaslit the hell out of you. He was like, Chelsea, I kissed you twice.
Yeah, he was thinking.
And you're like,
for receipts.
Oh, and sorry, Jimmy, if you ever see this, you probably won't. But I did not appreciate where he was like, I woke up, went straight to work. You don't have 3 seconds to like roll over and give you a little smooch on the cheek.
It's so interesting too because like, you know, I did express and people see like where I start expressing like concerns where I'm like, hey, like this kind of made me uncomfortable. This made me uncomfortable. I'm expressing a concern to you.
Gaslight you.
And then you see me getting gaslit and then you see my emotions rising normally. Mm-hmm. And what you don't see is his reaction to me reacting, and then all you see is him being like saying all the right things. I'm like, that's not how it went down. I'm not this crazy emotional person that is just pulling shit out of her pocket to start arguments. Like this is how I felt, right. You know? So yeah,
I'm sure whatever one singular argument you had, they didn't show every single part of the argument either.
100%. The big blowout that we had on the patio, that's very interesting. I do want to touch on that really quick because that was right after we met my parents, and it was the most amazing day. And we had probably like...
They didn't show that, right?
No,
we don't meet. Yeah, we didn't meet your parents.
So sad. My parents are so lovely. So we had the most amazing day. We're sitting on the patio. My family and I don't ever get together. Like we all live all over the states, and the dirty martinis were a-flowing. Okay, so we probably had like 5, and. If you know, you know. So we're sitting on the patio. We're just like so in love. And we're just like having this great conversation. And he's like, man, I love you so much more than I met your family. Our producer was like, Chelsea, this is a great time for you to start talking about or tell Jimmy what made you upset yesterday. And I'm not hammered, but I'm buzzed. And I'm like, bet. Like, bet. Jimmy! This really pissed me off. But you see me like start saying like, you know, it kind of made me upset that like you faked being tired to make the cameras go home. Like just all this shit. And then he got madder and madder and I got madder and madder. And then that was like a 3-hour conversation.
But it was instigated by the team. Interesting. Yeah, because they totally villainized you in that moment to be like, Chelsea's drunk. She's like pulling up drama. She's blah, 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 blah. When in reality, you were like, it just was something that you needed to talk about or was...
And I'm also the happiest. Like, if I'm drinking, I'm the happiest girl ever. I'm just like, I'm so lovey. So the fact that was portrayed in the way I was, I'm like, y'all nasty.
Yeah, that was not cool at all.
No.
Not at all. But also, like, aside from that, it's like, again, when anyone is having an emotional conversation with their significant other, you're drinking, whatever, it's like, again, put cameras in your face or hidden cameras somewhere in your house.
And I will, like, that whole conversation was so horrid. So horrid. The way that, like, we both, I wish they showed it, we both approached it was horrible. But never have a conversation like that when you're drinking.
That's fair. That's fair.
The things that man said to me.
Oh, no.
So bad.
Oh, no. I'm not a Jimmy hater, but, like, I was shocked when he was like, are you asking me to take a step back? Are you asking me to take a step back? I'm not willing to take a step back. I was like...
multiple
My jaw dropped. I was like, not him being like getting you to say yes just for him to be like, no.
Right, exactly. Well, then they didn't show him. This is what really got me riled up too, is that I told him, I said, you're going out all the time. Like, I really would love you to like not, maybe, I don't know. And he said, you think I go out too much? I'm going to go out more. You think I hang out with her too much? I'm going to hang out with her more. And I'm like, bro.
And this is someone that you're potentially about to marry.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah, no wonder you were frustrated.
no wonder I was crazy.
No, not even. That's so... I hate that. I'm sorry. I'm so glad that you seem to be in a very good place. You're speaking your truth. You're like letting people know, and you're like so chill about it too. You're not like going on the internet and you're commenting on every rude thing. Like, you're not trying to prove a point. You're like, if you believe me, you believe me, and if you don't, you don't. But it is like, it is your word to be like, this is, I don't want to be like slandered like this. Like, and you guys were the only ones that lived through it too. You were the only ones that know like what was said, that wasn't on camera, all of that. So I'm so proud of you though for like owning up to like where you are now and just being okay with speaking the truth.
And people are saying like I'm not holding accountability. Like, I definitely am holding accountability. I was not in a good headspace in that relationship because of the relationship. Like, I didn't handle a lot of things well. There are so many situations in that relationship I wish I handled better. But, I'm not proud of it. Seeing it back, it's like, oh my gosh, how cringe, how embarrassing, and how like sad. I was so like in love, but I was so sad because I wasn't getting, it reciprocated.
And I think you made that very clear, and it just maybe just wasn't the right person, at the end of the day. So, are you dating right now at all, or are you taking a little bit of a break from the dating world?
I am not dating. I am getting ready to start.
Queen. Are you going to go back on the apps, or are you just like going to vibe and see what happens? Or you haven't decided?
I just applied for Raya. So we'll...
Period. She's going to be with all the celebs.
No. I want to get on maybe Bumble. We'll see. I've done all that in Charlotte. So I'm like, how embarrassing. I don't want to get back on and be like, hey, gym boy. Like, hey. Like,
hey, we've all been there though. You delete the app and you come back and you're like, damn, this guy is still on there. Okay, he's still here. Maybe I should hit him up because he's been on the apps for a minute too. Okay. Well, good. Okay, so do you feel like you're maybe like ready to take a few dates? You're feeling okay?
I feel content. I'm very happy with where I'm at in my own life, and so I think, the wave is kind of, it's riding out right now, and so I want to enjoy this life with someone. So I do feel like, it could be good.
And you deserve it too. And I hope people don't put you in a box of like who they think that they saw on the show. Because that's not who you deserve to be known as for the rest of your life. Totally. It's just a singular experience that you had that 100%. Is super unique and cool, but it's not what defines you.
Love is Blind will never be my personality.
Post show and just life and bit bopping around Charlotte. What's that like? Are people coming up to you? Are they giving you looks? Do they talk to you? Are you at like the grocery store and someone's like, are you with Jemmy? Do they say you look like Megan Fox?
Yes.
You know what's funny? You do though. Like they're okay. But like I think, and I'm like all over the place. Like if people are like, who's your celebrity doppelganger? Yeah. You're not identical to them. You never said that. And that's another thing the internet like blew up. And now I'm like literally here talking to you. I'm like, that is totally your celebrity doppelganger, 1,000%. Are you twins? Right. Of course not. Right. But like, if you had to pick someone that you kind of looked like, I 100% support it. So sorry.
And everyone had that conversation. I'm saying this on every platform. I'm like, I was not the only one having this conversation. People are like, you ruined the experience. No. Everyone.
And Jimmy said he looked like Christian McCaffrey and it got cut.
Yeah. And I didn't know who that was. So I was like,
oh, period. But like, if that would have been in the show, they would have grilled him too, because no, he does not.
Ben told me he looked like Jude Law, and I'm like, you don't look like. I can't say shit. I can't say shit. But everyone was having the conversation, so people were like, you ruined it. Anyway, their like opening line to me, which everyone's been so sweet. Everyone's been so lovely. They're like, you do look like Megan Fox. I'm like,
they're validating you.
Yeah, they're so sweet. And then
and you're like, how much time do you have so I can tell you I'm not crazy?
Let me tell you my side of the story. So
you like get a note card and you just pass it out.
Yeah, right. This is my story. Here you go. And then they'll say, we didn't like Jimmy anyway.
And you're like, that's for you to decide if that's what you showed up. But it's been good though. Like you're not like, you haven't faced anyone like seeing you at the store being like, oh, she's such a bitch. bitch.
No,
I don't
not
like
yet.
her.
Thank God. And you
Don't
know
say
what?
yet. No, you can just say no. You can just be like, no.
But I do love that I did not come across as a bitch, thank the Lord, because I would have been like, that would be so mortifying. I never came across a mean girl. I came across unhinged,
Which we love. We love Unhinged.
unhinged than a mean girl. So period.
We have to talk about Travis Kelce impersonating you.
Oh my God, I love it.
So what do we think? Like, do we think him and Taylor are watching the show and they know you?
Absolutely. I'm praying. Well, actually, no, I'm not praying, actually. I take that totally back.
She's like, no, turn off the TV. No.
Stop, please stop. Just like I say in my video, I'm like, oh my God, please stop where you're at. Like,
Just pause it. Just turn off the Netflix.
just,
It's fine.
reach out to me. I'll tell you how it ends.
How do you feel knowing Taylor Swift knows who you are?
If that were confirmed, I would be literally shitting bricks.
Okay, you say confirmed, but like, do we think Travis Kelce is watching it by himself?
That's what everyone's saying. Like, there's no way.
I mean, he's kind of quirky and goofy, like maybe, but I'm like, he's watching that with her.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm shitting bricks then.
and you were such a trooper about that, about him like making fun of you. You took that so well.
Oh my God, it was so embarrassing. I like just landed in Nashville and I'm looking at my phone and I'm getting blown up and people are like, dude, Travis Kelce. Like, please God, don't say it's true. And it was, and immediately I pulled out my phone and I'm like, I can't. Everyone's like, you didn't have to rebuttal to it. I'm like, Travis Kelce?
You're like, I absolutely did. And you know what's funny? So when I was like doing little Instagram stories and it's like promoting that you're coming and whatever, and you look up your name and on like, I mean, you probably won't be searching yourself, but if you go on Google Images, all the photos right now, not like your reunion photo, not like your casting photo, it's you and Travis Kelce.
Stop.
Like random photos.
We made it, Mom.
Let's like talk about you for 2 seconds and not Love is Blind and not all the other drama. Flight attendant, you've been crushing it for so long. Do you have a favorite place that you've traveled and you would recommend for people?
I love this. Are you kidding me? I love Jackson Hole. That's a really good spot in Wyoming.
Oh, Wyoming. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have guessed you would have said somewhere like Wyoming.
Incredible. Any season. It's amazing. Anywhere in Colorado too. I love. Die Hard Switzerland girl.
I've always wanted to go.
I've never worked there.
Okay.
I've gone there on my own.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I rented a car. I think it was like my 28th birthday. Rented a car, drove all around the country. It took like a day.
By yourself or were you with some friends?
I was with my ex-boyfriend.
Okay. No, but that's amazing though. Like you don't even think about like just being a local for the day or like for the weekend or something.
But I preach solo traveling.
Me too, girl.
Solo traveling trip coming up.
Where are you going?
Greece.
Oh, that's amazing. You need to tell me all about that because I've been dying to go to Greece.
No, it's amazing.
And I'm a big solo travel girly as well.
It's actually like a program. Like you can buy a ticket and like come hang out in Greece with me. Like I won't make you do that. It's actually not my program. It's someone else's program that they
I would do it though. Like that would be so fun.
like, send all these
Have you ever been to
excursions.
Greece?
It's incredible.
And I hope some European people recognize you too from the show. Well, I guess they might not. I don't know. Is it on?
No, I'm getting so many messages from Europe and Asia, and they're like fans from Munich. I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, she's an international girly. Okay. All right, last question, Chelsea. What are your top 3 favorite makeup products? Because your makeup is so slay all the time. On the show, I was obsessed. Seeing you in person, you are stunning. Your skin is like glowing. No, you are not.
You're so sweet.
Top 3 if you had to pick. I know it's hard to do 3.
Yeah, honestly, it's so funny because I am just working with Elf right now, which is amazing.
Elf is the best.
I am an Elf girly. I will never be, and I wish I could be, I will never be like a bougie bitch. I just won't. I can't. People are trying to send me some stuff, and I'm like, I'll try it. But if I can't go to Walgreens and pick up some mascara or foundation, I don't want it. Like, I don't want it. So
When she's humble. The show didn't change her at all.
I love it. I love it. So I'm an Elf girl. Elf. Do you want like actual things I use?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Halo Glow, the foundation.
Okay.
Die Hard. The Elf liquid eyeshadow. Oh my gosh, it is so good, so stinking good. And then I will say ColourPop.
ColourPop is good, but they're at like Target too sometimes now. Yeah.
I think ColourPop stand.
No wonder you're glowy because you be getting all the glowy dewy stuff. I love that.
She's just sweaty.
No. I guess you did say that on the show a few times. Okay, so we are wrapping up. I did want to say, we've talked about like love languages and things. My love language is gift giving. So I just have a little something for you. No. You gave me your time and your energy. It's nothing big. Just open it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Stop.
It's a sex toy. No, I'm kidding. I would never exploit you like that, Chelsea.
I have some sweet Chelsea merch I gotta give you.
Oh, I would love.
I should have brought that. Why didn't I bring that?
Hey, well, you know where to find me, girl.
I'm new with this.
Traffic ain't bad coming up here.
Stop. What? Shut the fudge up. I'm wearing this right now. No way.
Shout out to Etsy, girl. Etsy.
Oh,
The font killed me. Like
sis, this is so thoughtful. Why am I teary-eyed? This is amazing. You're so amazing. Oh my God. I love you.
Aw, you're so sweet. Now, we always end the pod with a random fun fact. Do you have anything else you want to share? Any last minute random fun fact?
Oh, this one's funny. Okay, so people are eating this up too, and I did post a Q&A about it. So when Jimmy broke up with me, people were asking if I got to try the food that was at the table when we were at Carowinds. Did you see like the big spread?
Yeah.
So the second we sat down is when he like literally called off the wedding. And people were like, did you even get to try the charcuterie board or like the dinner you guys got? And they legit gave me a to-go plate. When I'm crying my little eyeballs out and there's like 7 cameras around me. And I'm just like, I'm so ugly. I'm just like bawling my eyes out. Like, you know, when you can't breathe, you're like, and here they come with a freaking, it's like wrapped in tinfoil, like a legit like grandma's to-go plate. It was so bad.
You go home and like...
Yeah. And then I had to get in the freaking golf cart and drive to the car. And I'm just, it was so embarrassing.
Oh,
I'm literally crying thinking about it.
They should have put that. Imagine that was like an end. Imagine me forgetting what I'm doing. Imagine that was like an ending credit to an episode. Just you you with your little plate. Like
I would have given them credit because
that's actually funny.
Oh my God.
They weren't filming that though, were they? You crying and holding your to-go plate.
Yeah, they were.
Ask for that footage right now.
I was like, I remember running down, like so dramatic, running down to like get away from the cameras. And I'm like leaning over, you do see like me leaning over this like railing. And I'm just like having a moment. I'm thinking like Jimmy's like interviewing, so no one's following me. I look up, they have like all these spotlights around me and then like 7 cameras. And I look and I just went right back to crying, like manic mode. It was so embarrassing with my to-go plate.
Too much trauma. Yeah. Chelsea, thank you so much for coming on my little girl on the internet podcast. Thank you so much. Chelsea's on Instagram, guys.
Yeah, I'm doing some fun things. Stay tuned.
More to come, and shop the merch, guys.
Merch, chelseablackwell.com.
Period.
Hell yeah, brother.
Thanks so much for being here. You were lovely.
Thank you for having me. You're lovely.